It's been almost a year since Microsoft Flight Simulator came out, and I think I'm finally ready. Let's start our world tour, guys. I think we can do this. But first, let's go and discuss the house rules, the rules of the game. Let's go. Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Welcome to the prologue of a hopefully very long running series, our world tour. I was inspired by all the things I've been seeing from other people, and yeah, I think I'm ready. So let's go and discuss what this world tour will entail, the rules, what we're going to do, what we're not going to have. And yeah, let's get started. So as you can see in front of you, we'll be using the Turbo Arrow 3 for most of the flights, hopefully for all of them. I'm not planning on changing aircrafts anytime soon, and this plane by Just Flight is an amazing work of art, perfect for what we need. It has a couple of nice features, so we'll stick with this for the most part unless there is something that can beat this level of immersion. I think we'll be sticking with this guy. So 9 Victor, India Charlie Lima is going to be here to stay. That's the tail number for Singapore, by the way. So world tour, yes, we're starting off in Singapore and we'll be making our way to the west slowly but surely. So let me show you that one. So if you go to world map here, yes. And we start off in Singapore. Wow, the world is a very big place, huh? Okay, 1 second. We're starting off in Singapore, making our way westbound, and we'll be looking for airports along the way which have nice approaches, ILS approach, or whatever requirements that we may need depending on the weather. Yes. And we'll be slowly making our way west, sometimes north, but all the way westbound, crossing over to different continents, eventually maybe even crossing over the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, all the way to the US, west, all the way until we circle around and go back eventually to Singapore. That's the plan. That's the very ambitious plan. But we'll start small. We'll do things one bite at a time. And we'll be doing all of that without the use of GPS. So the panels you see in front of you, these guys, these will be our best friends moving forward. Yeah, we won't have a fancy GTN 750 or anything. So we will be using mostly radials in the process. Yes, so radials, NDBs, going old school navigation to keep it more interesting. So we don't just go autopilot and follow the magenta line, right? It's a bit more immersion in there. Yes. Speaking of immersion, one more reason I really like this plane for this world tour is it has state saving. What that basically means is if we, for example, end one flight where we have the flaps fully extended, like so, you can see over on that side. Then the next time we load up the sim, it will exactly load this one as well. So if I missed to turn off something, if I forgot to turn off the magnetos, that's something I often forget, we might actually suffer some consequences there. Hopefully not. Yeah, hopefully not. But that increases the immersion. So the plane loads up however you left it the last time. It's going to be very, very interesting how that works in long trips like this. Okay? So yes, we'll not be using GPS. We do have a GPS 100 in there, a very basic model, but I don't think we will be using that often. Maybe only when we cross the Atlantic. Maybe that can help. So if you're those who are not familiar with it, yes, it's fully text-based, no moving maps or whatever. But it does have some nice stats here which can help us. In particular, I think there is a way for it to measure your track somewhat. Yeah, so track over there. So let us know which direction we're actually going with the winds into account and something. all those things. So that might be crucial for crossing the Atlantic, but for everything else, I think we will be settling with just radials and old school navigation. Okay, what else? As you might have noticed over here, let's zoom in there again. You can see that the auto fuel selector is also turned off, because I found that that makes things more interesting, although I probably have to set a timer. This plane has 2 fuel tanks. If you can see over there, we have a left and right fuel tank, and you kind of switch through them using this switch right here. That's the left one, that's right one, and this is fuel tanks off. Right? So every 15 minutes of the flight, we have to switch that, and there is an option to do that automatically, but why ruin the immersion? Let's make it as realistic as possible. So we'll be doing that switch on our own, turning on fuel tanks, moving that as necessary every 15 minutes. Now we can use this timer for 15 minutes, but I found from the test flights I've done, I oftentimes miss out on this, so we might have to think of a more aggressive timer, something that really gives out an alarm when the 15 minutes hit. But we'll figure that out as we go. Turn off the batteries here so we don't discharge it. Yeah. We'll be using, as you guys can see, live weather. This is live weather. There's nothing else that can be substituted for it. Right? Now, I am noticing a bit slower frame rate than usual. 1 second, why is that? Anyway, so, oh, there it is. Oh, look at that rainbow. It's like it's welcoming us. That is beautiful. Yes, so we'll be using live weather. So that means it will vary. Our flights will sometimes be beautiful visual flights where we go on sightseeing the entire way. And it could be just IMC the entire way. That is like we're inside the clouds the entire time. So it can be a roll of the dice how that works. Oh my goodness, that's the most perfect rainbow I've seen here in the sim. First time I've seen that arc. That must mean it's a good sign, right? That must be a good sign. Okay, cool. But yes, it's just showing off now. And because we're using live weather, we have to use some tools to analyze some data to make sure that the cloud layers that we're going through to find the best cruising altitude given the wind, given the cloud layers, make sure we're not in icing conditions, or to minimize the risk of it. And to that point, we need some third-party tools. So in our case, we'll be making use of, well, for weather in particular, we'll be using windy.com over here. I recently learned a lot from windy.com thanks to Flying Fabio. You guys probably follow him. Amazing teacher, learned a lot from him. He actually is the one who gave me a lot of confidence to start this series, so let's see. Hopefully that's not false confidence. Anyway, so windy.com, very powerful tool, can spit out a weather radar for us, let us know where there is heavy convective activity, areas to avoid. Looks like that's the entirety of Singapore. We have wind information that varies depending on the altitude, right? And the most important thing for me actually is the clouds information. I found that the icon forecasting is the most accurate with the sim. That's probably what MeteoBlue uses most of the time. Found that that's the most consistent. And what's cool about this, let me just give you a sneak peek, is there are plugins for Windy, like this better sounding plugin. Look at how detailed that is. Like, because of this, how this looks, right? You just get an idea. Okay, you have a bit of clouds there, you have low clouds here, but you don't really know the cloud layers exactly. But using this tool, this better sounding plugin, you actually know. So this red line is the temperature, that's the dew point, the blue one. So the closer they are together, the higher the risk, the higher the likelihood that there are clouds. And you can actually see on this left side, there's like gray areas. The darker that gray is, the thicker the clouds are. So like very light gray is probably few clouds, darker is scattered and then broken, then overcast. But yes, that's how you will see. And there's also wind information in here. So as we go through our flight plan, you can click different areas of the map and see how the cloud layers look. and from there be able to deduce a decent cruising altitude to keep us as clear of the clouds as possible. But yes, those kinds of things, right? And with live weather in the sim, matching almost exactly now with the forecasted stuff here. It's going to be amazing, I can imagine. So, yes, looking forward to that one with you. Also, I forgot to mention, because we are dealing without GPS, so we have little Navmap here to serve as a tool. Now you can see I have the GPS, the location disabled, because normally it would be like that, right? You would have the position of your aircraft. But I will disable that so we don't know exactly where we are, and we have to rely on conventional navigation, VORs. And little Navmap is very powerful when it comes to that point. Planning different flight plans, adjusting as we go. You can even measure it. Like from a specific VOR, we can measure how far we are from that. So if we see in the DME we are 10 miles away from this VOR, then we can put this ruler out, get 10 miles that way, so we'll know we're somewhere in this area. So that's basically how we will navigate. And this is also how we will be finding those VORs and NDBs to tune into, so we have an idea where we are. Yeah, so, but yes, old school navigation, no GPS, so it's not too easy. It will be exciting the entire way, right? That's how it works. So yes, expect those things, and let me know what you think. We will be adjusting the format as we go. There are still some aspects that I'm not sure of, like I'm not sure, do we have to go through the checklist each and every time, you know, because that's going to be pretty immersive, pretty cool, going through the pre-flight. Or maybe I skip through some, I do some in the background, and then I take you in for the main parts. But we'll try to keep it as cool as possible, as fluid as possible. So you guys let me know what your preference is, and we'll adjust as necessary, even down to the volume levels and whatnot. Alright? But yes, really looking forward to this, guys. I've been thinking about this since yesterday, and I really wanted to share it. So hopefully you guys are excited as I am. And as always, if you have ideas, let me know. And with that, let's go and start our first flight. Singapore to Malacca in Malaysia. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the first episode. Clumsy flying. Bye-bye.